The Rich and Mike Show, Flagler County's hometown sports show. Here are your hosts, Rich Carroll and Mike Licio.
Yes, this is another episode of the Rich and Mike Sports Show. Good Saturday morning, Flagler County. And a good Saturday morning to you, Mike Licio.
Hello, Flagler County. Rich, it's a quiet time of year in the local sports scene with school being out, but there's still some stuff going on locally.
Yeah, big event going on here locally that you're actually in town, right? You're in the county today.
I am. I will be down at Indian Trails. They are having the Father's Day Invitational Lacrosse Tournament hosted by Florida Lacrosse. It'll feature 95 teams from boys and girls lacrosse, from young kids all the way up to the high school age. And my son, he's going to be on his club lacrosse team, Benito Run. He's going to be on the B squad, which is mostly made up of his high school JV teammates. They'll have 3 games today, but there'll be games going on all weekend. They'll have pool play today, and then tomorrow there'll be the tournaments to determine the winners of each section, because there are different classes and different ratings and things like that. So it'll be an exciting time. If you enjoy lacrosse or you're just looking for something to do, go out and watch 30 lacrosse games going on at once, at least I think, because there's going to be 95 teams. That's a lot of teams to get done in such a short time.
30 lacrosse games. That's pretty wild. And it's all day, right? I mean, you're going into the afternoon with that.
All day. I know that Michael's on the B team, and we were playing at 8. We had a game at 8:50. We have another one that just ended as you're listening to this, and then we'll have a third one in the afternoon. But then the A team from his club team won't start until 2:50 in the afternoon. So it'll be going on all day and all night down there at Indian Trails.
Man, just when you thought you had summer vacation, you're out doing more games, Mike. Unbelievable.
Well, time waits for no one, and no rest for the weary. So that's where I'm at. But
and it's hot out there, dude. You stay cool, man. Stay cool out there.
I'll just come hang out at your house if it gets too hot. I might just show up.
I got the AC kicking, so you're always invited, Mike. You're good. All right, cool. So a very cool event going on here, Indian Trails Father's Day Lacrosse Tournament. I'd like to see. You should get out there. They should have the fathers play a game. That would be pretty good.
Some of them would be pretty good. I would not be one of those. It goes back to, like, I did some announcing for St. Augustine High Lacrosse this year. It's the same thing I say when people say, well, you announced softball, you should play softball. Oh, no. There's a reason I announced softball. Yeah. There's a very big reason why I announced softball.
Well, if they did like a father's golf tournament for the lacrosse team, that would be more up your alley, right?
Yep, and they will be having one in August. So I'll be looking forward to that and, donating some money to try and help the team before the season starts. I think FPC and Matanzas are having golf tournaments as well. So there'll be plenty of golf. I haven't gotten to do any of it myself, but that day is coming. I was going to say that St. Augustine High, they have at the end of the year, they have a boys versus girls lacrosse game where they play. The boys have to use the girls' equipment, which is actually surprisingly different and played by the girls' rules. It's almost like a different game. And it was fun because for about 3 quarters, the boys lacrosse team looked like they had never touched a stick in their life. And it was hysterical.
Wow.
Now each team, the boys have the boys team has a girls goaltender and the girls team has a boys goaltender. So that's the only boy they're going up against is the goaltender. But it was a fun thing, but it just shows that it's a very, very hard game.
I'd imagine. I don't know much about lacrosse, but I'd imagine that the goaltender is important in the way that a hockey goaltender is. You could get hot and be the reason why your team wins.
And definitely that is the case, but you have to. You're not getting shut out, so that's a big difference I think between a hockey goaltender and a lacrosse goaltender is you're not getting shut out. So you can't look at a goaltender and say, "Oh, he gave up 8 goals. He did a bad job." He probably did a good job if he held the team in single-digit goals. But enough about lacrosse for now. I'll hopefully have some reporting on that on the Monday Sports. But we have some other sports going on. Flag football, something that I think I could play a little bit because I could still sling it. I mean, the arm's not what it used to be, as I get in my 40s, but I can still put the ball where it needs to be. So, but this isn't about me and my great quarterbacking abilities. On Thanksgiving, I always say,
what's your QBR, Mike? What's your QBR?
Pretty high. I threw 18 touchdowns last Thanksgiving.
Wow.
3 interceptions, but 2 of those are because my wife's cousin ran the wrong route. So I'm not taking the blame for those. So
I still got to get you in a wiffle ball game, man. I got to see your stuff. I got to see if I could take you out the park.
I don't think I can pitch anymore. I could rake. I could,
Ah,
I'm more of a junk baller.
yeah.
I have a bad elbow. I can throw a football, but the wiffle ball, I just,
It's
don't
been a
have it
while.
anymore.
I used to have the nastiest wiffle ball slider. I'm a one pitch pitcher, but it's a pretty tough pitch to try to hit. So I wonder if I could. I don't know if I could. I know I could probably still sling the football, but the wiffle ball, it's a special art, Mike. It's a special art. So all right.
I mean,
So
Mariano Rivera made it all the way to the Hall of Fame on one pitch.
that's
So.
true. Hey, I did pretty good in the neighborhood with that one pitch. So. Enough about wiffle ball, right? Nobody wants to hear about wiffle ball. Flag football.
Well, maybe they do. Flag football. We've got a heck of a flag football program here. One of the top teams in the country, in fact, in the Flagler Mad Dogs 15U team here in Palm Coast, and they have just started that 15U team about a year and a half ago, and in that time they've been able to grow it, and they're actually competing in national tournaments. They've had a lot of success. And I was able to catch up with Coach Joey Arsuaga and my good friend, Coach Chris Parks, longtime coach at FPC. Chris Parks has coached a little bit of everything. And we had a great conversation about the Flagler Mad Dogs. I'm joined today by Coach Joey Arsuaga. Coach Arsuaga, you are the coach of the Flagler Mad Dogs. It's a flag football program here in Flagler County. Tell us how that started.
Yes, sir. So we started our team, the 15U team, about a year and 3 months ago, March of 2024. So we actually had some tournament teams prior to that, and I decided it was my turn to put a team together. So I reached out to Coach Parks and Coach Chris Parks, and the two of us started building the team and selecting athletes from our rec league, Mad Dogs football of Palm Coast, and really that's where it began.
What was it like getting that team together, just building that team from scratch?
So, on a positive note, I've coached in our rec league for about 7 years. So, and that's really where we pull these athletes from, are from the rec league. So just coaching the kids throughout the years from, starting in the 8U division, and then, now we're coaching 15U. We had a pretty good understanding of, which athletes brought what to the table. So it was a lot of fun, building the team from each position, selecting each kid based off personality traits, making sure that they all gel together and things like that. So it was a pretty neat experience.
And you hit the ground running with the team. And how much do you think that familiarity helped build success so quickly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of them were already friends. So that definitely helps build chemistry. 3 of them played together in a prior tournament team. A few of them played together in rec. So just right from the gate, they had a pretty good idea of, timing and how each other worked. So it was definitely helps with familiarity with each other, and the trust piece.
And you've had a lot of success with the team, even in just little over a year. You've won numerous tournaments. Tell our audience about some of the successes that the team has had.
Yeah, so absolutely. Our first tournament we played, so it was April of 2024. We went out and looked great. We lost 1 game in pool play, and we pulled the kids together, got them really, supporting each other through the rest of that tournament, and we won our first tournament right out of the gate, which was huge. And then it just kept going. We won our next tournament, and our third tournament went for a three-peat, which was pretty substantial for us, not something that we had seen from any of our tournament teams in the past. But in this year, we've won 9 championships, so 9 tournaments. We finished top 4 at the Summer Nationals in Canton, Ohio last year. And this, about 2 weeks ago, we won the Battle of Bradenton, which was an AAU Junior Olympic qualifier. So we punched our ticket to the AAU Junior Olympics in Texas. And with that win, we got half of that paid for, along with a half paid bid to the World Championships coming up in Disney's Wide World of Sports in 2026 in February. So that was a big win with us, and that also catapulted us to number 2 nationally in the rankings, in the Zords Power Rankings. And that system uses an algorithm based off of who you play and based off of who they've played to rank you against the other teams. So a lot of good things are happening for the team. All their hard work and dedication is paying off for sure.
Also joining us is Chris Parks. Chris is your partner as coach of the Mad Dogs. Coach Parks, good to talk to you again. It's been too long.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. How you doing this morning?
Doing well, and we appreciate you joining us. Coach Parks, quick question for you. What has this experience been like with the Mad Dogs? You've coached everything and everywhere, it seems. I know you've had your hand in a lot of things. What is this experience? What's been unique about this experience?
Honestly, understanding the game, understanding how different flag football is from tackle football, and then understanding that, a lot of these kids, this is all they have. I'm used to athletes playing different sports, but some of the kids that we have on our flag football team, this is it. This is what they love to do. This is what they see themselves as an athlete and just understanding the game and all. This experience for me is like, all right, so I'm in it. I got to go in there full force, 100%. I don't want to lose the game. I understand how to lose, but I don't want to lose. And so, like, when we started everything, I remember we got beat by – who did we get beat by first, Jordan, at the first tournament?
Miami Flag.
So Miami Flag beat us, and I hate losing. And so I looked at it. I'm watching all the other teams work out. I pulled the boys to the backfield, and I'm like, we got to change something up. So it's constantly trying to strategize against other teams. So it taught me as a coach, like, I got to get out of my playbook. I got to jump into something else because in flag, it's a fast-paced game. And then it's not a long game at that.
How has the buy-in been from the kids so far?
Right now, pretty good. And I think it's because of the way we're coaching them up. We could go to any tournament. Even the kids that are not a part of Mad Dogs organization, they recognize us as coaches. They recognize our players. Even the coaches root for us to win. After we beat a team, they root for us to beat the next team. And so, like, having that in surrounding areas and then coming back to our community, the players around here are like, yeah, I would love to play with you guys. Like, I want to play with you guys. And it's more so we love the way you're influencing the kids, not only on the field, but off the field.
And I guess this question is for both. Oh, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
To go with player buy-in, I mean, Coach Parks says it all the time. We're family, and the kids you can truly see that. They not only do they hang out on the field, they hang out off the field. We do quite a bit of things to build relationships and give them opportunities, from going to Canton, Ohio to play in the Summer Nationals. But, we turned that into an entire experience for the boys where we all stayed in one big Airbnb. We played basketball. We played cornhole. We took them to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We did a movie day. We had family dinners. We've done multiple things as a group that, gives some of these kids experiences that they wouldn't have had before. So, when you talk about buy-in, it's really a family atmosphere from what we create, from beginning to end with the team.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it's got to speak to the fact that these kids have bought in, the fact that there's so much interest around the program. It's got to speak to the success that you two have had in developing this program. How do you how do you take it to the next level from there?
Yeah, from here, so not only do we have our 15U team, but we try to use our 15U team as a model for the rest of our tournament teams. So besides us, we have 7 other teams right now, ranging from 7U all the way to 15U, us being the oldest division right now. And we have a 6U division coming on, tournament team coming on in fall. So we'll have 9 total teams. And, to take it to the next level, we want to see all of them be successful. We've got a few other teams that have won championships over the last year and a half. But, Coach Parks and I really talk about how it's not just about the players' athletic ability. It really goes into their mindset and how you build that team together. And the whole team has to gel. Consistency. We practice 2 days a week, pretty much every week of the year. Obviously, we all have family vacations and things like that, but consistency and dedication is really what's helped us get there. And that's what we try to, instill in the other teams and the other coaches and just say, hey, this is how we've been successful. But when you ask for what the next level looks like, I think it's more than just us doing what we're doing. I'd love to see multiple teams in our brand start winning championships or win more championships.
Have you gotten engagement from any of the other coaches, the high school coaches in the county, or any of the other coaches around the county?
Absolutely. So what was really cool was we were featured in the Observer this last weekend, and we were able to do all of this through sponsorships. So we don't charge to be part of a tournament team. And so my wife and I and Coach Parks, we do a lot to make sure that the kids are just able to be here and play. So through sponsorships and fundraising and things like that is how we pay for all their jerseys and tournament fees. But when we put that Observer letter out, we had Matanzas, some of the coaches, benefactors from Matanzas reached out and actually sponsored the team. So big shout out to the Pirates for sponsoring the team. That was pretty cool for sure. But yeah, as far as other coaches, we have, like I said, we have 8 teams. So there's plenty of coaches within our rec organization that are coaching teams. Coach Parks obviously is part of the team from FPC here. Coach Parks, you got anybody else?
We got Coach King. Coach King is a part of the FPC program. He's also coaching Mad Dogs Rec League. And then, like, for the new coach we got in, Coach Turner, he's also trying to figure out ways we can bring in, whether it's the Mad Dogs or some of the Mad Dogs teams in to do workouts and go to coaches clinics. So there's different avenues that we're going to try to look to as far as getting the high school coaches involved with the Mad Dog organization, or even with our 15U boys and some of the coaches that coach for the Mad Dogs organization.
So you have this tournament coming up in Houston, and what are you doing to get ready for that?
Like I was saying, we practice 2 days a week, pretty much no matter what. So that's a big part of it, just starting to work and rep through some new stuff to get a new look on the film. But besides that, we are in the midst of just full-on sponsorships and fundraising to make it as easy for the families as possible. As you can imagine, taking families for 12 players, there's 40 or 50 people that we're getting out to Houston. So just continuing to try to make it easier for the families for that huge expense. It's a big trip for some of them. Heck, some of these kids may never, get that opportunity to go to some of these states and not only play football, but experience the cultures and things around there. So right now, our biggest thing is continued fundraising. So we've had a few big sponsors that, if you don't mind, I'd like to call out. But United Water Restoration has been a sponsor from the very beginning. They support us every year. Same with Solaris Healthcare Daytona. This year we picked up Lotus Elite Care for a huge sponsorship, and like I was saying before, Matanzas Pirates. So it's our sponsors make all of this possible for these kids to give them opportunities again that they may not have had before. But that's what we're working on right now to get ready for Texas. It's just full on planning and organizing a trip for 50 people to get us there, and hopefully bring home a gold medal for our community.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're doing also is making sure as coaches we're out there on the field with the boys practicing. It's like we're going to play by play. We're doing like a hurry up 1 minute drill, 2 minute drills on getting the boys prepared for any situation as far as game situation, because we don't know the competition yet. And I try to remind the boys, and Coach Joey also try to remind the boys, like, we're our biggest competition. If we're going to compete, we're competing with ourselves first. So as coaches, like, I'm out there and I'm playing, whether I'm safety or I'm corner or I'm running the ball against the boys. Hey, you got to understand, I might be a little bit older, but I'm going to give you 100% each play. And if it's making the boys, honestly, they play harder against us than they play against kids, against their peers, which is kind of putting them on a different level. And I think that's one thing that I could say that led to our success at winning so many games. Because we don't treat the boys like 15-year-old boys. We're preparing them for college. We're preparing them for manhood on and off the field.
They must have fun trying to get after it with you, Coach, because I know you say you're a little older, but you're also probably the best conditioned athlete in Flagler County, if we're telling the truth here.
Appreciate it, man.
Guys, how can if people in the community want to help contribute to Mad Dogs football and support Mad Dogs football, how can they do that?
They can reach out to us through Messenger on our social media accounts. Our social media account is it's 15U Mad Dogs Elite Flag Football. And if you go follow that page, you'll see some of our accomplishments. You'll see our sponsorship letters. But yeah, that would be the easiest way to get in contact with us. Just shoot us a message, and we're super responsive. We monitor it all the time. And then if anybody knows us personally, obviously they can reach out through text message or phone call.
Well, coaches, I appreciate you joining us and wish you the best of luck in Houston and beyond.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Wow, great interview, Mike Licio with Mad Dogs football, flag football, a lot of great things in there. Our reaction after this.
Thank you so much for recommending us to your family and friends. When you need a 30, 60, or 90-minute massage, it's real easy to book your appointment online. MassageByNatalie.org. MassageByNatalie.org.
Rich and Mike Sports Show, Saturday morning. Mike, I think the first thing you have to acknowledge is just all the work and dedication that these coaches put into something like this, and they really are doing amazing work for the local youth. But I think the thing to point out initially is to acknowledge that this is not easy to do. This is something you dedicate your life to, and you could hear the passion in the interview, and I really think it's amazing.
It is incredible, and they fundraise for all that. They don't charge fees to the kids, to be on the team, and it's harder to do that, I think, from an outside organization. We cover the schools, and the schools have to work very hard to raise funds, but people know the schools. Everybody knows FPC. When you see a kid from Matanzas out in front of Publix, you say, "Oh, I know kids. I know Matanzas High School. I know the kids." For the Mad Dogs, it's you're kind of coming in, and maybe you're relatively new in the community, and maybe there's not that familiarity or even that trust that you get when you're from a school when you're doing fundraising and things like that. So they've overcome that challenge as well. I did say about Coach Parks, I've said this many times. I told him on the interview he's the best conditioned athlete in Flagler County, and I believe it. I always said if I looked like Coach Parks, I wouldn't even own shirts. so that's the bar that the kids have to reach. They have to try and be in the same conditioning as Coach Parks, which I know he's done conditioning with FPC football, basketball. He's been all over track and field, so I know that Coach Parks, I know he's going to have those kids in shape and ready to play. And then, he brings, Coach Arsuega brings in his football knowledge, and, Coach Parks has coached everything. So he's, these are two veteran coaches who really know what they're doing, and you're seeing the results on the field.
Yeah, there's a lot to the game of football, a lot of coaching to be done, but nothing can, X's and O's, things like that. But as far as being an inspiration in that way, that's very important. And you heard in the interview, I'm talking about how, this isn't just about football. This is about preparing them for college, for manhood. It goes beyond those things. And it shows you as a coach, you're not just a coach, you're a mentor, you're an inspiration, you're someone who is a teacher, just not of a game, but of life. So, and that as an individual, that takes a lot of time and dedication. So I'm in awe of what they're doing for the kids here locally. You got to love it. And I also really take away from the interview that obviously the Pirates with the sponsorship, Matanzas and FPC, hearing that Coach Turner is trying to figure out ways to be involved. So it's great to hear that the local schools are also seeing the benefit of Mad Dogs and want to see how they can help to uplift the youth even before they get to high school. So it's all in all a great thing. And I just thank both of these coaches for all of their hard work and what they're doing for the community. It's really cool.
And we talked to Coach Turner at the beginning of spring practice, kind of gauging where he was as far as reaching out to the community. That was one of the teams he mentioned was the Mad Dogs, trying to bring them into the fold. And so it is good, and I think that's really going to take them to that next level as they want to build the program out to not just have great 15U teams, but have great teams all the way around. I think having the buy-in and the support of the high school football coaches in this county is going to go a long way with them.
And you talk about a trip to, what was it, Houston, and a tournament, and that type of life experience that exists for these kids because of what these coaches are doing. because of them, striving for something special for these kids. And then all of a sudden these kids, they're going to go on this trip. They're going to go compete against other kids in another state. And it's going to be an experience that you're never going to forget. In Little League, I competed in the Little League World Series. We didn't go all the way to Williamsburg, but, we went up to upstate New York, played in a tournament, and, to a lesser degree, but, we didn't go to another state or anything, but, we went upstate and we played some other teams. And that was an experience that I will never forget with the games that we played, winning a game, losing more than we won. But it's something that becomes part of your frame of reference in your life. You never forget that. I'll never, every time I see the Little League World Series, I think to myself, hey, I competed in that. That was fun. And these kids are going to remember playing flag football in Houston, and the glory of what they may have accomplished, or maybe there were some tough plays here and there, or man, I could have done this differently, but that's all part of it, right? And you learn from these experiences, and I can guarantee you all the kids involved will never forget that trip. It's going to be such an incredible experience for them.
And there's the bond that you have being on a team. I know even my son, he's only played flag football with the Police Athletic League in St. Johns County, and he, just within the Saturday league. So they've never been like a high competitive level. But the teams, when he won the 10U championship with his team, he's still friends with those guys. That was in 6th grade. Now he's going into his junior year of high school. That was actually probably 5th grade as I think about it. And he's still friends with a lot of these friends in high school. One of his best friends on the lacrosse team is somebody that he's been friends with since they played 8U flag football together. So it's the experiences, it's the bond with the teammates. And, these are things, like you said, that they'll take away forever.
Yeah, it'll last a long time. And then even beyond that, then these kids, when they become parents, they're inspired by those experiences, and they're going to want the same thing for their kids, right? Because now they know how important it was for their development, how important sports were for their development, and learning the game, to learning how to lose and learning how to win. So there are so many lessons to be learned and experiences to be had when you have coaches brave enough to get into a venture like this and try to create something not really for money, but for the kids, something that's going to enhance their experience. Look, school ends at summertime, but the world doesn't stop spinning. There's still things to do. You can go out and play sports and be involved as long as programs like this exist. And because coaches of their quality and men of their quality, quite frankly, exist, these programs exist, and these kids will just take it with them for the rest of their lives. And I think even their kids are going to benefit for it, because they'll be looking for similar programs, and the cycle just goes on and on and on. Cycle of goodness, Mike.
And I couldn't agree more. I've just met Coach Arsuega yesterday, but I've known Coach Chris Parks. I've known Chris a long, long time, and he's as good a man as you'll find. And I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So congratulations to Mad Dogs football. I'm sure as a lot of talk in the county about new sports complexes and fields for this very type of thing. So I'm sure that the Mad Dog football is going to be around for a long, long time, for generations, to be a staple of Flagler County sports, as well as with the high schools and whatever sport complexes and all that may come down the line. But Mad Dog Sports, you heard about it here, and I'm sure that you'll be hearing about them a lot more as the years go on. And I'm sure, Mike, you'll probably stay in touch, and whatever happens in Houston, we'll probably have a report on the sports report, right?
Yeah, I hope to. I hope to have some more reports as they go on, and I hope to hear hope to be able to share all the success that they have throughout this summer season.
Yeah, thanks to Mad Dog Football for being on the show with Mike and I here on a Saturday morning. Hey, enjoy the rest of the NBA Finals, NHL Finals. The Major League Baseball season is in full swing.
Edmonton in 7.
There you go. Well, you know what? I'll agree with you, Mike. Edmonton in 7. Why not? A lot of Florida Panther fans are not happy with us right now. That's another episode of the Rich and Mike Sports Show. Have a great weekend, Flagler County.